The MOD relies heavily on its strategic sealift vessel to deliver equipment and supplies across the world. The lease agreements for the Point-class ships are approaching their end and consideration of their replacement is urgent. Strategic sealift is not merely about moving heavy armor or humanitarian supplies, it is a critical enabler of expeditionary warfare, ensuring that British forces can deploy swiftly and at scale. The Integrated Review 2021 and its subsequent updates have underscored a renewed focus on global presence and resilience, highlighting the necessity of maintaining a capable and modern sealift fleet. The lease agreements for the Point-class ships are approaching their end and consideration of their replacement is urgent. In January 2025, the MOD issued a request for information to industry for the Strategic Sealift Future SSLF program. Assuming funding is allocated in the SDR, SSLF will replace the current interim capability, increasing back to 6 slightly upgraded vessels. Initial market engagement will conclude in April and the MOD will have an outlined business case by November 2025. There are several ways the SSLF delivery could be structured. The first option is the defense-owned and supported model where vessels are both owned and operated by the MOD, ensuring full governmental control. The Defense Zero Net and commercially supported option would involve the MOD buying the ships but contracting their operation by a private entity, leveraging commercial expertise for efficiency. Under the commercially owned and defense-supported framework, vessels are privately owned but operated by the MOD, allowing the military to maintain operational command while outsourcing ownership. Finally, the current model could be continued whereby the ships are both commercially owned and managed. Whatever the management structure, the ships must be under sovereign UK control, available to respond quickly to developing military logistics requirements. Each ship must be registered in the UK, be British-owned, and classified by a full International Association of Classification Societies member headquartered in the UK. The new ship's lifespan is expected to be around 30 years for a new build, or have at least 10 years service life remaining if second-hand vessels are selected. The biggest hurdle is how to spread the capital cost of the new vessels to align with MOD annual budget cycles and the cash flow of a commercial entity. Estimates for building the 6 new ships range broadly from £1 to £2 billion depending on the level of specification and where they are constructed. Given spending constraints, a phased procurement process, where the older ships are replaced incrementally, may be the most viable approach. The new vessels sought by the MOD are expected to be approximately the same size as the Point-class, less than 200 meters in length and have a draft of no more than 8 meters. They must be capable of carrying international maritime dangerous goods class 1 to 9 cargo and support refrigerated containers reefers for cold chain storage when necessary. The required capacity should provide a minimum of 15,600 lanes in meters at a minimum of 2.8 meters width across at least 4 vessels. The new ships will need to have some significant upgrades as existing ships are limited in their ability to accommodate modern, heavier armored vehicles such as the Challenger 3 main battle tank and Boxer infantry fighting vehicles. Future vessels must have sufficient deck space and load-bearing capability up to 5 tons per square meter to transport contemporary and future military platforms. The ships must be able to operate in extreme environments from the Arctic to the tropics and built to Ice Class 1 as standard to ensure they can navigate through sea ice. Propulsion systems must provide for extended range at economical speeds and be able to run on globally available fuel sources while being adaptable to future fuel solutions. The MOD also wants to explore ways these vessels could play a greater part in amphibious warfare operations, serving not merely as just transport vessels but potentially incorporating a flight deck for helicopters or UAS, command facilities, and modular mission base bases. The next generation vessels must consider potential operation in more contested waters and some defensive equipment may be required. This could include mounts for crew-served light weapons and hardening of the ship's systems against cyber threats and electronic warfare. There is now a very strong case that no British naval auxiliaries or transports should put to sea without effective soft-kill counter-UAS and USV jammers, or ideally with hard-kill weapons. Efficient cargo transfer and loading is the core business for the ships. The vessels will include a self-supporting main stern ramp and internal ballasting system for offloading to mexafloat or ashore, capable of supporting a SWL of 75 to 150 tons. The new requirement also specifies a side ramp which would allow the ships to make use of a wider range of ports and harbors, as loads can be discharged onto a jetty or quay while alongside, instead of requiring either a port with its own ramps or placing the ship in a Mediterranean moor, stern to the quay. The Point class have a small starboard side door amidships, but this access point is narrower and is not as efficient as stern loading. To facilitate self-loading and unloading at austere ports, each ship will have at least one crane capable of handling 20 or 40-foot equivalent TEU and FEU containers and cargo. Access must allow containers to be fully secured to the ship while still accessible at sea, not something possible on board a typical container ship. Although the Point class are already highly automated with a core crew of just 22, future ships will take this further, integrating autonomous and remote ship operation technologies to reduce crew size even further. The new ships will need comfortable accommodation for extended periods at sea and provision for up to 12 additional augmentees in addition to the core crew. A key decision for government is where to build the replacement sealift fleet. SSLF could be procured by simply allowing the operator to order ships wherever they can be built most quickly and cheaply. This would almost certainly be in Asian shipyards, but would undermine the UK shipbuilding strategy that specifies these vessels in its 30-year plan. While an entirely British-built solution may be politically and economically desirable, a mixed procurement, with some foreign involvement but with ship blocks consolidated domestically, a similar model to the fleet's solid support ships, could be an option. Navantia-Harland and Wolff and Cammell Laird would appear to be the best positioned shipyards in the UK for this work. Although lacking recent experience of RRO vessel construction, MV Hartland Point and Anvil Point were built by HNW in 2002. Constructing these ships should be a relatively simple task compared with the complexity of warship construction. The incumbent, FSL, may be in the strongest position to bid for the SSLF contract, assuming the MOD retains a commercial operator. The new management arrangements and the 4 ships need to be up and running by 2032. Which implies a tight schedule to fund the project, select a contractor, design and build the ships.